So we're going to get started, guys. Thank you for all for joining. Pretty exciting today because we have not one special guest, but two, and we're going to really get personable with our newsletters and, out with the massive bombarding of these stock images and general information. And let's introduce a new age of, custom, maybe a little bit personal newsletters that are going to get a lot of enhanced readership, or if that's not your style too, I'm going to show you in Velocity where you have put each and every month your monthly newsletters, and we're going to show you how to set them up to send out because it's super, super easy. So we also have Carly here with us on the line, my Velocity account management pal out east here. So I'm just going to make her a co-host as well so she can come on the screen. And we're going to start with basically Camilo is here. Camilo Rodriguez, welcome back from Mortgages Lab. We're super happy to have you online.
Thank you, Sarah.
Now, guys, the reason why I asked Camilo to come and speak is because his newsletters just blow me away. They are so unique, so interesting, and so true to him and his values and his team and his family and what they represent and even his culture. And that I have to say, Camilo, I think you're the only person who's gotten me to actually read their newsletters. And that's huge. Like, that's a major accomplishment with all the noise and, all the stuff that we receive on a day-to-day. So really good for you.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm honored. I'm honored that you're reading my newsletters.
So his newsletters are just as cute as Camilo himself, and we're going to take a quick look at. I have a couple examples here, 3 to be exact, of ones that he has sent out over the past couple of months, and he's going to kind of talk a little bit about his strategy and what he uses there, how he comes up with it, and then we're going to pivot over and have Carly come on. I don't know if you want to say hi, Carly. And have Carly come on to show you. Hi, how are you? Red is your color, I must say. You look good in red.
Oh, why, thank you.
So then I'm going to show you guys where to find your templated newsletters in Velocity, so how to set up and send out each month. Super, super easy to all your audience. Or if you want to get more specific, you can do that too. And then I'll show you also, if you want to take those templates and just customize them, tweak them a little bit, maybe putting some of your own stuff in there. I'm going to show you how easy that is to do in Velocity. And then Carly's going to show us how to set up and send them out in the campaign section. So this is recorded. If you do, kind of get behind or something, don't worry about it. There is also, of course, training sessions on the VelocityCRM and campaigns and templates. There's full sessions on that. So this is really just a, jumping off point, get to know system capabilities. And then I will email around the link for all the training afterwards. What I'm just going to do before we get started is a big mute all. So unless you're Camilo or Carly or have something burning and very important to say, please continue to leave yourself on mute. All right. So Camilo, let's get you to unmute yourself. I'm going to share right now my screen and show you guys just a couple of his newsletters and just how amazing they are. So let's get started. And Camilo, I'll let you speak to them. I'm going to start with this one because this one's super fun. So this one was for the Harry Styles. Your family went to a Harry Styles concert, right?
Well, my daughter is Harry Styles fan. For those of you who doesn't know who that is, that's a very important singer from the UK. My daughter is 17, so she introduced me to him. I didn't know him. Well, not personally.
Not personally.
Very soon I'll be prospecting him for a mortgage. And anyways, so now I'm hooked with his music. It's really nice music. And she was asking some of her friends to take her to a concert, and their parents wouldn't allow them to go. So my daughter says, "Dad, you've got to come with me." So we went to LA and we went to the concert. So I was the only a handful of guys I'm more,
All dads.
all dads and brothers.
Dads and
Uh,
brother.
Anyway, so she had the outfit as well done for me and everything else. I had to dress like for the occasion. So that was one of the topics on my newsletter.
I love that. So that in itself, guys, just makes you want to read it, right? And it makes you feel like Camilo and his family, and we get a glimpse into his life and just how sweet they are. So this is really, really engaging. It's very warm. It's very high touch. But also I'm guessing that this, I don't know, how much work do you typically put into your newsletters each month, Camilo?
My newsletter has to be done within 30 to 45 minutes flat.
Wow.
30 to 45 minutes maximum.
How have you mastered that?
So I'll tell the framework. I have a framework and a philosophy on newsletters. Okay. We all know the value of newsletter. We don't have to sell that over here. Okay. We know that is stay in contact. But I'll give the example of a car dealership. Okay. Let's say I go and buy a car at a dealership. Okay, I'll go buy a nice Toyota, whatever, and then I get into their newsletter. And now the following month they send me the deals of the month. And I go, why would I want to know the deals of the month?
No,
not at all. And then they send me, why Toyota is best over whoever the other leading brand. And Toyota and the market of cars or whatever it is. I have zero interest. I bought my car. I don't want to know anything. Maybe I really like the salesperson.
Yeah.
But not to the extent of, getting that information that I don't care about for the next 4 or 5 years until my car goes out.
Yeah.
So my opinion and my philosophy, number one, whoever is in your newsletter, okay, objective number one, that people do not unsubscribe. That's your objective. People do not unsubscribe. Because if you start doing a newsletter, it's hard to get people. And now everybody unsubscribe. Then what are you doing? Okay. So objective number one, do not unsubscribe. Objective number two, we are bombarded with information, with everything. It's my philosophy as well. I don't want to post in my newsletter that the Bank of Canada increase or decrease the rates or any mortgage information. Why? Everybody has that. Like faster that I can produce my newsletter. By the time I send something out, it's already 3 days old. And would I want to send to my clients the same information at the Global Mail or a gazillion blog posts? Information right now is everywhere. You can get any information anytime you want. You don't need my newsletter to do that. Okay?
Simple Google, that's it.
Simple. What information you will never know if you're not subscribed to my newsletter? If I went to LA with my daughter to look at a concert with Harry Styles, nobody has that information. So number one, it's always my first post, something personal about me that I'm willing to share with my clients. If you show another one, that's my wedding day before I became a broker, when I had hair. Okay, the price I paid for being a broker is I had to lose my hair. Every file I plucked one hair, every file. Now this is called experience. Okay, so people, you don't even know how many replies I got to that one.
It's so heartwarming and beautiful, right?
So it's my wedding in Mexico City. Okay, my wedding day, because we were having, I think, an anniversary or something. So I got into that. So if you see, my newsletter has, and I'll tell you the framework, and then we'll go into a little bit of detail and why I can do it on the 30 minutes flat. Okay. I have 4 sections. So I recommend each of you create a newsletter with 3 or 4 sections tops. Number one, personal about you. I am 100% sure that your clients want to know a little bit more about you on the personal side. That information is not available anywhere, and people will not unsubscribe just to know what else Camilo is up to.
Yeah, it helps build trust and like they already know, especially if you do your job with them, they already know that you know mortgages and that you're their go-to person to speak to about these things. So we don't really need to constantly remind them of that factor, more so that we're here and we exist and that we want to keep an ongoing relationship. And that's what I think this does such a good job of.
Number two, my number two article is from all the bombarded information that I have, everything that I find really interesting, helpful, or funny, I put in a little folder. So as I'm going through my day and I get emails, I get TikToks, I get Facebook or whatever, you cannot shield away from that. But every time I find something that I really like, I go into my folder of the newsletter for the following month. So I have about 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 every month that I really, really like. And then I go through them and I pick the best one, the one that I really like the most. And that goes as my second article. So it has to be funny, interesting, or outstanding content, like something really, the best I can find for that month. So that's my second one, okay? Number three, something that you're passionate about.
So number 3.
Yeah, so for me, that section for me is Spanish wisdom. Why?
I
Because
love your Spanish. I love the Spanish wisdom section. I do.
So I love sayings, okay? And I speak Spanish and I have English and Spanish speaking clients. So if I find a saying in English, I will translate it into Spanish or the equivalent. If I find it in Spanish, I put it in the picture and I translate it into English. So it goes to all my audience. And for example, that one, I really found that one really interesting and it's helpful for people. You cannot achieve a goal in the future if you cannot change a habit in the present. I love that. I love that stuff. And it's so helpful, right? So
like a daily like an aphorism kind of, right? Just positive words of wisdom. And I always like them because I try to translate it myself and see if I can understand it. But everybody loves to learn something cultural, right? So, I mean, just an extra added piece of wisdom, a fun, entertaining, quick distraction in the day, nice check-in. So is it always Spanish words of wisdom you use for that section?
Yes, look, the goal is not to be better than the other man, but to your previous self. I love that stuff. I'm not competing against any of you guys. I'm competing against myself. I'm competing against Camilo of 2022, Camilo of 2021. That's what I'm competing with, okay? So can I find a saying that is interesting in 10 seconds, in 2 minutes? I go on Google, find one really good, and I screenshot it, paste it, and then I translate it. Done.
Yeah.
And the last one.
I like what you said. Sorry for a second. I like what you said that you kind of keep track of these things as you go about your days. So it's not like when you sit down to write your newsletter for your 30-minute block, that's not like the first time you're thinking about it all week. Hopefully, as you're going about your daily life and you find things that you think are cool, you start setting them aside, right? And compiling maybe like an archive of stuff that you want to share over time so that it's not so daunting every month when you do it, right?
And I'll tell you later how I do it really fast. And the last one, I love my, to create a Bitmoji because it brings a little bit of freshness to the transaction. So I always send a Bitmoji of myself saying something about mortgages. But that's that is the last section, the one that people read the most. And actually what happens is people respond a lot to my newsletter on a personal level. Oh, I love how your wife looks or whatever it is. I love your saying or whatever. And I just keep, so when I submit the newsletter, the following couple of days, I have to respond a lot of emails, but that keeps people engaged. Okay?
Absolutely.
And there's nothing about offers. There's nothing about, selling. There's nothing about mortgages. People know.
Relationship first.
Yeah. People know who I am. And I've had people for 10, 15 years into my newsletter. They tell me, similar to Sarah, I'm not subscribing from your newsletter, but I'm looking forward to the newsletter. So that's job number one. when that newsletter hits their inbox, if they don't unsubscribe, then just glance over it. In their brain, they will say, interesting, whatever it is, and Camilo Mortgages.
So true.
That's what you're looking for.
Even if all they get is just this first little bit, the first personable bit, already this is intriguing to me, right? Because this is your real life and you're letting me in, you're building that trust and whatnot. So even if I don't read the rest, I'm still thinking about you and, like how adorable is this picture of you and your wife from back in the day? Like definitely puts you back on consistent radar, I'd say, and keeps them engaged.
Now my kids and my wife has a vetting mechanism. Now I cannot, because I used to post whatever. So I went on my phone and then I look at a picture. And then my wife and my kids said, Camilo, stop. You have to tell us what you're going to say. I don't want us to be in your newsletter. So now my kids and my wife I tell them, can I do this? And they go,
and get approval. Yeah. Get approval first, probably, before you send out pictures.
The reason why I can do it under 30 minutes or 45 minutes is because I put it, so it's a template. It's always the same, 4 pictures. We are very visual, and then text on the other side, okay? And on the other side, if you say, I'm just doing a quick summary, it is 4 or 5 lines, okay? That I explain the picture, 4 or 5 lines. When I have on the second section where something interesting or something, I put the link and then the title and then 3 or 4 lines explaining what I like or why I put that link in there. If people want to go and take a look at it, they can click on the link and they can spend 2 hours. But for me, it's interesting because boom, 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 done. Number 3, Spanish wisdom, paste a saying, 1, 2, 3, translate it, takes me 5 minutes. And the last one, a lot of the times I just change the emoji, the Bitmoji, and I just put my contact information and my calendar. So after I send my newsletter, my calendar gets booked. People ask me questions, they wanna whatever, right? So
that's a huge point there. And for those of you who have not looked into some kind of calendar assistance service, my life has completely changed since I adopted one of those services. And the one I use is Calendly. I'm sure there are other ones out there. I did do a Tip Tuesday a ways back on Calendly and did show how to incorporate this within your calendar and all of that. So go and search the library, Calendly, if you're curious about that, because I think that that's something that 100% everybody should have adopted. It should just be one click to go and book an appointment with you. And like Camilo said, just by sending out, he spends half an hour on his newsletters, sends them out, and just by that 1/2 an hour is a meeting generator. It's a call to action because of his link too. He's not having to deal with a lot of the back and forth of, are you available Friday at 4 this time of this? No, sorry, let's try another date. No, sorry, let's try another day. Like how many times has that happened to you? And eventually you just kind of almost give up because you can't find a common time, or why not? It's just so much easier to do this. So for example, if I click on this online video meeting with Camilo, I would just go and pick the date. It would offer me time slots. It would even ask the reason, and then this goes directly into Camilo's calendar, as well as my own. So really, it cannot get any easier.
So that's it. It's so important, and I'll tell you why. In my first 2 years of business, I met lots of people. If they didn't have, so the probability that when you talk to someone that they're in the mortgage market for a renewal, refinance, or purchase is 3%. It has never changed. So you have 97% probability that when you talk to someone about a mortgage, they are themselves not in the market. So what you need to do is create a newsletter, because that your follow up with all the people that you met. My list is about 6,000 people. Okay.
Wow.
That receive this. Okay. And they are referring other people. That's why the business becomes easier on the marketing side if you have a little bit of a strategies, because you have talked to every year you talk to you should be talking between 100 to 500 people every year. And they all get all to the newsletter. We can talk about compliance a little bit later, but they all get into the newsletter and they can unsubscribe. Of course, I get unsubscribed like everybody else, but there's a lot of people that want to stay in touch. And
Absolutely. Because, even me, if I were to meet you and I'm not particularly looking for a mortgage right now or in needs of any financial services, if I was added to your newsletter, I still wouldn't unsubscribe because it's a relationship building with somebody that I know is there for when I need them, and no one's going to turn that down, right?
Sarah, that's so important what you just said. And
Yeah.
I've seen the following. I've gotten people that come really cold, like, for example,
Yeah.
my website or whatever, right? Or they found you somewhere and no referral, no nothing. Hey, what are your best rates? And I just go
Yeah.
3%. Thank you. That's it. They go into my newsletter. I usually send them an email, say, hey, do you mind if we stay in contact? Maybe next time I can do
Yes, important
rate.
ask.
People say, oh, sure. That's my confirmation that they have opted in for my newsletter. Okay.
Great.
And then I add it to my newsletter, and then I see January, February, March, April, May, June, a year later, 10 months later, 10 years later. Right now, even though I haven't talked to that person, there's a little bit of connection because they know that I married in Mexico, that I went to hairstyles, that I'm trying to lose weight, right? That I've lost my hair trying to become a mortgage broker. All the tips they know. So they go, oh, this guy is normal, like he's human.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It humanizes you.
I'm not saying I am a 50 million producer. I am the #1 in my brokerage. I am. Never. I just tell them, authenticity, super important. Be who you are. My business increased when I gave up trying to be somebody that I don't want to be. This is Camilo.
Wow. Love that.
With accent, without hair, weight problems, right? That's who I am, and I'm trying to do the best mortgage I can do for you. That's it. Do I have the best rates? Of course not. Nobody has the best rates.
Nobody does.
Nobody does. Oh, my buddy at the bank says, I say, well, go with him. And one thing I'm going to tell you, I would never say that, because if you have some sort of experience in this business, you know that is not a thing. Nobody has the best rate. If a lender had the best rates, there was only one lender in Canada.
True. Yeah.
And besides, Mr. Client, the reason why you're calling me is not because of that, because what I want to do is I want you to have, similar to a doctor, that's why I have my lab coat, similar to a doctor, I want you to have a person that you can fully trust and that can answer any questions from any lender anytime without any cost to you.
I love that. So it's just it kind of is a sales technique in itself, in not being salesy, right? Like you're approaching it from an educational and a personable and a relationship standpoint, as opposed to a more so forward, a little bit more abrasive, injecting in a little bit of pressure in sales, because people tend to shy away from that. Even a 6-year-old can tell when they're being sold to, and a lot of people tend to feel uncomfortable, and the unsubscribe button's right there. Why do I need to be reminded of the miserable interest rates, every few weeks, when if I'd much rather read these warm, welcoming messages with somebody that I know is there for when I need them.
Lovely, Sarah. Anybody, any questions about that newsletter or anything?
Yeah, any questions about Camilo and his techniques? I just love them. I will never unsubscribe. That is a promise.
Thank you, Sarah.
I will never unsubscribe. They're way too cute, and I just love receiving them. And I really just want to commend you on, I think, a job well done.
If any of you would like to subscribe, send me an email and I'll add you to my newsletter, and you'll see what I'm up to, because they will give you ideas. But you need super important, with all respect to all the networks and everybody's, I would never send a newsletter that is a templated newsletter similar to somebody else, where they only change the name, email address, and phone number. Would never. That devaluates. I've received from real estate agents same newsletter, same boring information about top 10 tips in the summer, top 10 tips in the winter, bunny eggs. Like I go, and the same just different picture.
Oh, it's Easter? You have a picture of a bunny? Oh my God, I'm so surprised. Like,
Right?
you know?
People think that they're following up with the clients or they're staying in touch. It devaluates, in my opinion, it devaluates their relationship because you're telling your clients, I have nothing special. I have nothing
Yeah,
special.
I'm just like everybody else, right?
So use the platform, use Velocity, use the newsletter that MA provides, but personalize it to yourself 100%. Think about a section that you are passionate about. If you're a golf person, go nuts one section with golf.
Right, yeah,
If
golf.
you are into music, song of the day of the month. If you are into whatever you're into, right?
So it doesn't have to be that personal. You don't have to, no one's asking you to put pictures of your kids. And no one's asking you to put, you know, anything really personal along those lines. It can be a passion of yours, you know. I played this amazing golf course on the weekend, you know, or like Camilo said, this song is like really hitting my playlist right now and I'm loving it. Like any shares that we can give that kind of helps to bring people together and get to know you a little bit, I think is just totally worth it. And we do not have to be that personal if we don't want to, because that's of course up to you guys in your comfort
It's up
level.
to you. It's up to you. How often do I send the newsletters? I send it 10 times a year, so monthly, and I skip 1 month in the summer, and I think that December, because people are overwhelmed with stuff, I skip that one, or January. So I just 10 times a year. Okay.
Okay.
Can you please, okay, put your email in my chat?
Someone
Okay,
pasted
email,
that for
yes.
you, yeah.
How often? Why do you start all your posts with help?
Oh, it's meant to say, I think, my first name, but I
Yes.
think that he has me in his system or something as help
No.
under my email.
No. What happens is I put it on my newsletter an email, the company email called help.desk@mortgageslab.com because I want to receive a copy of what everybody receives. So I receive it on my company email, and I think that's what I sent to you, Sarah. So
yeah, on this one though,
the first name of the person.
Yeah, so I think I just got his test one. But this version you can see it's actually my first name on all of them, which I love as well because it's directly addressing me, Sarah. I love the, you know, as opposed to just jumping right into it, Sarah, Happy New Year's. Everybody, have you guys heard the saying that I don't remember how exactly it goes, but it's like to each and every person, hearing their name is like an adrenaline pusher, almost like, you know, we love to hear our own names more than anything. So you really worked a good angle there, I think.
Yeah, I think that too. Telling the name of a person is super important. We all should be talking to people in their first names, right? So
First names, yeah, for sure. Question, in your experience, best day or time to send of the month newsletters?
great question. For me, the best answer to that is in one word: consistency. Consistent.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with the date or time. Consistency. Okay.
Just always the same. Yeah.
It's just do it. People will get to your newsletter. Yeah, I know there might be data saying, or data analytics saying, well, if you send it at this time. Yeah, and I would think about my clients. I go, when would I want to receive the newsletter? Maybe not at 9 o'clock in the morning because everybody's going to be working and getting their day, and so they're not gonna.
And they're gonna skip past it. Yeah.
So perhaps I'll send it in the evening, maybe at. I schedule it. Like, it's not that I'm gonna I schedule it maybe on a Friday at 5. I don't know, maybe perhaps.
I've heard at least in PR school we learned 2 p.m. is a really good time to send things out, because people are, you know, just over their lunch maybe, and they're kind of looking for a little bit of a distraction before they dive right back into things. You know, you've got a little teeny like afternoon hump to get past, so you're looking for a little bit of entertainment to keep you going. So I think that 2 o'clock personally is a good time, but definitely consistent is important.
100%.
Okay, well, thanks, Camilo. That was so great. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned. His newsletters are just fantastic. So now that we've seen kind of his strategy and what he puts into it, I'm going to take you into Velocity and show you where to find the Mortgage Architects newsletter, monthly newsletters that are put in there for you. And then I'm going to show you if you want to change it up a little. So you can use the bare bones of anything. And we could just put, our own drink recipe in, our own whatever post it may be, words of wisdom, whatever you might be. So I'm going to show you how to do that now quickly. And then Carly is going to show us how to schedule. So in the meantime, any questions coming through, please feel free to ask.
I do have a question.
Yes, please.
For Carly. Carly, can you import lists into Velocity that are not clients yet? So can you, because when I tried to do that maybe a year and a half ago, it wasn't possible. I don't know if it's possible right now, but can I upload my list to send my newsletter from Velocity?
Yes, absolutely. You can either upload your list as a list of leads if they're kind of people that you want to stay top of mind, or you can just import a list of contacts.
Yeah.
And then from there, you can make an audience list directly from that list that you've imported, and you'll be able to send out those newsletters to that list in Velocity.
Beautiful. Is that recent?
Yeah.
The importer tool is, it is fairly recent.
I love that because I was looking for that. So everybody on this call, amazing, because Velocity now you can do this with Velocity. You just have to create a template and off you go.
Yeah. So you can put a list of any clients that you have from anyone from anywhere, can bring them into the system, and you can actually target these people with your newsletters or with any other kind of mail outs that you want to be sending. So yeah, absolutely doable. Sarah's hovering over the importer section right now on her screen. I can see.
Yeah. So you just go to tools on the left here and then importer. And from here, we can just import spreadsheets. If you just want to do contacts, you would select contacts instead of deal because we're not importing deal, or leads, meaning leads are people that, you haven't done a deal with them yet ever. And they're just kind of on your radar to keep in touch with. So it's very easy to do, and then just go ahead and add it in. So yes, they have improved this tool significantly, and we're pretty excited with how it's turned out.
And Carly, can you send a large number of newsletters? So let's say if my database is 6,000, would Velocity accommodate that?
Yeah, no problem at all. They might take a little bit to send, so it's not going to be in like
batches in batches,
2 hours, but yes, it will send out to all of the people on that list.
And sorry about being a little technical. Do you guys experience any issues? Because when you're sending a large number of emails, some CRMs have issues with deliverability of the emails.
Nothing that I've heard of. There is the console, which we'll touch on a little bit later. It'll actually tell you exactly which emails have been delivered, any that have bounced potentially. So you can actually see exactly what is happening with those emails. And it's not something that's come up.
You can see unsubscribe as well if anybody unsubscribes, which will give you a good feel for, maybe this newsletter wasn't so popular. Maybe I need to pivot my approach and go with a different direction. So at least that we can now see the statistics and we can see what people are clicking on. We can get a better feel for how it's going over. So I'm going to jump into the CRM. So from my home screen here, or wherever, on the black left side menu bar, I'm going to right click the Velocity CRM and I'm going to open it. Now you don't have to right click. I just like to do that because it opens it in a new tab, and then I keep my Velocity open as well. If you want to just click on it, that's fine too. And then once I do that, you'll see on the CRM page, left side menu bar, second down is the console. So this is what Carly was referring to. And this is going to show you your deliverability. So it's going to show you what's, this specific campaign, how many sent, how many are still in progress, if any were undelivered, how many were open, clicked, and then unsubscribed. So this tool is huge for us now when it comes to basically researching and tracking our marketing efforts and maybe looking for areas of improvement. Okay, so that's your console page. I'm going to jump down to the templates here at the bottom on the left side, because I'm going to show you where to find your MA marketing created templates each and every month. They will be put in here. So on my templates page, if you guys were to pop in yours right now and you've never used this page, you might have nothing here. Okay, don't freak out. It doesn't mean that they forgot to give you the templates. They're still there. We just have to click this one step further, create email template, in order to see them. Okay, so if you have nothing here, that's okay. These are just the ones that I've already created or been working on. So go ahead to get a new one, create email template. Now on this page, you'll have all options, really. You can pick from any of the themes that are pre-created. Now there will be Mortgage Architects branded ones, and there'll also be more kind of generic branding. So it's up to you, to select what you want to go with. Or there is also the option to start from scratch if you want to build your own campaign from nothing. I don't really recommend that because it's super easy to change out content and images of an already structured, built, color coded, etc. campaign. It's a lot easier to just augment the ones that are already pre-created than it is to build new from scratch. But of course, as always, we want to give you guys the ability to customize to your heart's content. So under themes, I'm going to search in the templates for the newsletter. And you can see we have both French and English. And so this is taking us back to November. And then here's the month of May right here. So if I want to use this template, just click the little pencil, little purple pencil here. And go ahead, continue. And this is where I'm going to see, what's marketing built, what content did they put in, what images, what articles they've selected for this month. You can see that they've even gotten down to a gardening to-do list. So I do really like what they do with this in a sense, because you get, what's the difference between different plants? When should you start planting your veggies? So similar to Camilo's approach, it's not all mortgage focused. Like this is, quite practical and general helpful educational knowledge that, a lot of people might actually enjoy, and it comes along with a very nice photo that there's nothing about mortgages here, But up here, we have, so on your profile page in Velocity, if you have not yet, make sure you just fill out, there's some standard contact and name fields, etc. Make sure you fill those out on your profile page because that's going to autofill into this section when you send out. So that's where this is coming from. It's going to say, your first name, last name, etc. But all of this, as I hover my mouse, you can see everywhere I hover, a little square comes up around it. That's allowing me to edit it or delete it or move it around, copy it. So really, I could make this completely into my own version of the newsletter if I want, or I can just go ahead and use this one if I'm happy with it. So I'm going to show you just how to change up a few things. Let's say I wanted to add a summer recipe here, or like Aperol spritzes are very popular this year and the past couple of years. So, maybe I'm going to make this more fun and change it up and put in a picture of Aperol spritz and, a link to my favorite recipe or something like that. Anything fun, really. So to do that, I just click on the picture, and this little changey arrow circle on the left is gonna allow me to change image. So everything I click on the right, on the left, it's gonna pop up with the editable options. Okay, and now that depends if you're editing an image or text or whatnot. But in this case, we're going to change out this picture because, you know, stock images, and what I mean by stock images are ones that you basically get online from, you know, Adobe or wherever they come from. Stock images are not the best really to use if you can avoid it. Always much better to use personal, even if they're not the highest quality. It's not that important really. People just kind of want some depth there. So if I want to change this, and let's say I want to do a personal picture, I can just do, okay, add from file. Oh, I might have to change the format. Okay, add from file. I'm going to do my Aperol Spritz recipe. All right, now this picture is quite big, so you can, of course, edit this. It'll allow you to change up the sizing, change the layout, everything until you're happy with it. So don't feel that you're restricted there by any means. And then, you know, maybe I want to instead, whoopsie, link it to my classic Aperol Spritz recipe page by, you know, my favorite blogger, or maybe I have my own family recipe, even better, that I want to put in there. So you can go ahead and easily do that. You know, this is just merely showing you, oops, how you can change things up. So even if you want to just copy the content, make sure to give credit, of course, where credit is due. We are not out to steal content here. Copy the, you know, the beginning of the content, and then maybe like click here for the rest, or click here for more, or something along those lines. And then what I would just do is get the link to the recipe. And on this click here, I'll highlight it. Okay, highlight. And with a quick scroll up, it will allow me to link. So this little link, change link button, just click on that. And you can go in and put the URL so that, there we go, so that people can access that page. Okay, so you don't even, if you like an article, don't, like true to Camilla's word, don't paste the entire thing, because that makes, the more people have to scroll through your newsletter, the less they're going to actually read it. So maybe even just the first couple of lines, keep it short, sweet, and then a link to the rest, if that's kind of the direction that you're going to go. You can change up this banner too if you want to put, I always recommend like personal team pictures. If you have a picture of your team, you know, standing in front of your signage, or even just you in your office. Dogs are great for this. Pets are super great for sharing. So anything along those lines, it's super easy. Just go ahead, click, and then click the change image button to find the image that you want and insert it. Any questions there? We are going to, again, I'm going to send around links to the different training sessions for this after, because there is a whole training session just on template customization. And then there's also a whole session on setting up your CRM campaigns and audience lists, which is the part we're going to cover next. So if you are having trouble following along, don't worry. We are going to, oh yes, great question here. We are going to, which should show you more. Question about how to embed a video. Thank you for asking. That's a good question. If I want to add a video here, that's very easy. So adding any new blocks, block meaning I want to add a new picture or a banner or social media information. It's really just a drag and drop thing. So under my blocks on the left, I would just select video and drop it in where I want it. Oops. Drop it where I want it. Okay. Now it's ready. It's waiting for a URL in order to attach to that video. So I would, from that point, just go and get, let's use my song that we introed with, the URL, copy the URL. If it's a video you made yourself, like Vidyard or BombBomb, those things are great for making quick videos. They produce a link, you know, generated instantly, and they're super easy to do. Or if you're making more complicated videos, you can always get a Vimeo or a YouTube account for free, and you can upload there to create a URL, because we can't just attach actual video files to emails because they're way too big. So we need to be attached to a URL for easy sending. Okay, so now I've copied my link to my video on YouTube, and I'll just highlight this box. And on the left, where it says link to video, I'm going to paste my link in there. Okay, and you'll see it load. Now you can change the thumbnail on this if you want to change up even the color of the button. You know, maybe I think like this one's more on brand for my style. Really, there's tons of options here. You can even resize it, change the alignment, etc. So lots of options to change up there. Okay, just going through the chat quickly before we move on. Yes, so can the standard MA newsletter be programmed in Velocity, as I still have them going out from Exemius? Yes, so this is the standard newsletter that I pulled up here. I just obviously put my own spin on it, which you can or don't have to do, up to you. So it's the same newsletter. And it is already loaded there for you, and you can set it out from Velocity, which if you're working in Velocity, I absolutely recommend that you do. Just make sure to uncheck it in Exemius to turn it off. And if you need guidance on that, just let us know. Okay, so I think we're going to switch now over to Carly, and Carly's going to show us, like, maybe I'm now happy with this template. I'm going to save it, and I want to set it up to send. So what's my next step, Carly? How do I, designate who to send it and when to send?
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt. I need to go. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
of course. Yes. Thank you so much for coming, Camilla. We really appreciate it. That's why we let you go first.
Thank you, Carly. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to say before you go, your newsletters were so awesome, and it was so great to hear you walk through how you did that. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
You were awesome to watch.
Thank you, Carly. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, everybody. All the best.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so so thanks for passing it over, Sarah. So I'm going to go ahead with the screen share now and pull up my Velocity. So as we've seen so far, how to personalize your templates, obviously super important and realistically the hardest part. So what I'm going to show is the easy part, lucky me. So I'm just going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. So we should see my campaigns page in Velocity. So as Sarah just kind of displayed, oh, I logged out, whoopsie daisy. Opening with the right so that I can easily jump back to my Velocity page if I want to. Great tip, Sarah. I also mention that every time I talk about VelocityCRM. So what Sarah showed was just saving the template in the template section. So all of the MA newsletters, as she said, you'll have access to from your templates. I've gone ahead and added a nice little MA newsletter myself. So once you're happy with your template, you'll see it under your template section. And the next step is really just to figure out when and who that is going to go out to now that you have your content. So we're going to start by heading into the campaign section. There are a couple of pre-built campaigns in Velocity. So from this section, I have a whole bunch of test stuff. You may not. What you're going to do is just click this create campaign button to get started here. And once you've done that, you will see a number of pre-built campaigns. These are the pre-built maturity campaigns and mortgage anniversary campaigns, everything that Velocity has kind of pre-created for you so that you can easily come in and just turn that on. So definitely worth taking a look. I only have a couple because, again, this is my test account. You should have like 9 or 10 pre-built campaigns. So there's a lot that's kind of already there for you. Definitely recommend checking that out. Because we're doing a newsletter, we're going to just start from scratch because it's going to be, it's not hard to do. We're just basically sending out one email on one specific date. So to send the newsletter, I'm going to go ahead and say, let's say we're doing a June newsletter. And click let's get started. You have a few options here. So you can basically select deal campaign to use data that are coming from your deals in the system. You can use property campaigns as well if you're using kind of information on your properties. We're just going to use a contact campaign because we want to target basically everyone in the system. This is just going to your client. So it's fairly simple. So we'll select contact campaign and click continue. You do have the option of sending SMS campaigns out from Velocity. So actually text message campaigns to your clients. In a newsletter, this is probably not the best way to do it. There's a couple of other ways you can use that SMS campaign. For now, we're going to go with the email campaign. And final step, step 3, we're choosing between a dynamic and targeted. Dynamic campaign are campaigns, for example, the maturity campaign, where you're actually looking at the information in Velocity and maybe sending campaigns based on different dates, or even a birthday campaign. So it differs from client to client. Again, with a newsletter, we're just sending it to all of our clients and we want it to go out on one specific date. So we're going to go with the targeted campaign. And the next step is going to be the final page. This is where we're putting everything together. So we have our campaign name here. The next section is choosing an audience. So you're going to actually have to add in an audience by creating an audience list in the system. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my audience list tab on the left in a new tab so that I can go in and quickly look at this. I also realize we are running a little bit low on time. So this is the audience list tab. Sorry, I'm just moving a little Zoom tabs out of the way. I have a whole bunch in the system. If you're starting kind of fresh with VelocityCRM, you can start by just going ahead and clicking create an audience list. And because this is going to be quite easy, because really we're targeting all of our clients in the system, because again, it's a newsletter. So our name for our audience list might just be our June newsletter list, because we're going to want to update this every month as we add new people into the system. And then I can just go ahead and click continue. 2 options here. You can start with no contacts. This would be a situation where you want to create kind of a small audience list where you're really selecting which clients you want to add to it. In this case, again, we're sending out a newsletter. We want to kind of get it to as many people as possible. So we're just going to go ahead and add all of our contacts in the system and create audience list. And that's it. I have my list of clients. I can go ahead and see exactly who's entered into this audience list. I can see how many people I have in this audience list. And that's it. So when I head back to my newsletter page, I'm going to refresh my page and I should see my June newsletter list in my dropdown now. So it's super simple. We've created our template with Sarah. We've super quickly created an audience list of all of our clients in the system. And then we can just jump back into our campaign page and put it all together. So we have our title, June newsletter. We've added our newsletter list going out to all of our contacts. Next section is just jumping down to these campaign stages. Basically, each stage is going to be a different email. So if you're getting really fancy with it, if you're using one of our pre-built maturity campaigns, for example, there'll be multiple emails set to go out. This is a newsletter. We're sending out 1 email. So we can just click to expand our stage 1. We can quickly name this newsletter. And then under the template section, this is where we're selecting our template. I have my MA June newsletter that I created before the session. So I can just select that, and that's going to pull in that newsletter right into your campaign. The next tab is the subject line. This is the subject of your newsletter, whatever you want this to say. Summer is here, pool parties, or whatever you want to note in your subject line. Make this as creative as you want. You want to get those clicks. You want your clients to open this email. So I recommend something a little bit fun. It doesn't have to be that. Rules and conditions. We are not adding anything into this section. Again, this would be in a case where you only want this specific email to go out to certain people in your audience list. We don't want to add any rules and conditions here. We're going to keep it simple. So we can leave that blank. The schedule, this is quite important. This is when you're actually entering the time or date that you want this newsletter to go out. So because this is June, I can actually schedule this for the 1st of June. So I'm setting this up in advance for myself. I can put June 1st, 12 o'clock a.m. That sounds good.
And this is where consistency comes in, guys. Try to keep the same day, time each month.
There
So
you
if
go.
it's the first of the month at 2 p.m., try to keep it to that.
Yes. Approval. So this is important as well. Approval is basically deciding whether you want to have to come in and say, yes, I approve this email to go out to each of your clients, or whether you want the system to just send it out in the background. Something that would maybe you'd want to require approval would again be a maturity campaign that you have going out. Maybe you want to see which clients it's actually going out to, because sometimes someone may have sold their property and maybe you know that they've done that. So you don't want that campaign to go out to that person. So you're basically just giving yourself the control. In this case, again, it's a newsletter. We want it to go to all of our clients. It's nothing super specific. We can have this auto approve. And after 6 hours, so that's going to be 6 hours after the time in the scheduled time. It always says 6 hours. So basically you're sending this at 6 a.m. That's fine. I would just go ahead and leave it there. If you do want to change the time, you can go ahead and edit when this is auto approving as well. So to keep it simple, you can basically leave as is, select auto approve, and that's the end of it. You've set up your campaign.
Whoop. Did we freeze there for a second? Oh no, we might have lost Carly. Are there any questions there, guys? Thanks, Carly, in case you can hear me, for that great explanation.
If you start, it will save automatically as a draft. So if I do come back to my campaign section, I'll be able to see my June newsletter. I haven't published it, but I can go ahead and publish it just by coming back and clicking publish when I'm ready.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Carly, you froze for a second there, but I think it came through.
Okay. Apologies.
That's okay. Any sorry, Carly, were you wrapped up, or did you have anything left to share?
No, that was basically it. I don't know where I froze, but basically, if you don't want to publish right away, it's fine. You can just leave it and your campaign will be in your campaign section. And when you are ready to publish, you can go ahead and click into it and publish. So no pressure there. It's always auto saving. So that was kind of the end of it. We put everything.
Okay, I'm putting the link to the VelocityCRM train line in the chat. So for those of you who are wanting more in-depth training on this, please do go and visit that. It has great videos and such instructions specific to get, if you want to set up just the newsletter, or if you want to do, pre-approval campaigns, lead campaigns, maturity dates, etc. It's always there available for you. And again, most of these are built pretty turnkey for you to just plug and play. So already there, already branded. I showed you how easy it is to just switch out an image or content, or they are also available to be as customizable to your heart's content. So really tried to get it from all angles there. Yes, you can, Kathy, also set a test one if you want to send to yourself too. That's always a good idea. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it there. So Camilla did leave his email in the chat. I did leave the link to the CRM instructions. I'll also email those around to you. And Carly's here too. I don't know, Carly, if you are comfortable putting your email in there you go, trainingteam@newton.ca. If you guys need help with anything along these lines. They also do offer CRM if you want to outsource like your CRM setup to somebody, you want to, and now that is, an added service. But if you say like, this looks fine, but there's not enough hours of the day, is there someone who can handle this for me that I can outsource to? The answer is yes. Just send myself an email and we can get you sorted with that. Or you can email training team too. It's the same thing. In the CRM, do the contacts automatically come from Velocity? Good question, Bonnie. Yes, they do. So this is all fully tied to your Velocity, all your contacts. Nothing needs to be done. It's completely synced. And it's also tied to the deals. So if I'm doing, let's say, a campaign to send a message to my client when I've submitted their file to lender, it's automatically going to pick that up. So any status is aligned with the deal that I have attached to campaigns, it's good to go. You really don't even have to think about it. Okay, any other questions coming in? Let us know, guys. You have all our emails, you got the links. I hope that you enjoyed this session. I hope that we kind of had a bit of a different perspective on how to increase engagement with our newsletters and kind of build ongoing loyalty and our databases. Yeah, so questions, comments, let me know. Any suggestions for future topics? I'm always open. Okay, bye everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for having me, and thanks everyone.
Bye.